Hi everybody, we're going to bring in a ground plan and trace it using AutoCAD 2016. I'm going to insert a PDF underlay. Find my drawing here, rough measurement ground plan, open, okay, and attach. Okay, I'm going to bring it right here to 0, 0, and it doesn't really matter what size I make it. This is how I can scale it large and small. Turn off my snap so that I don't get stuck here, and I can show you how that works a little more easily. There we go. Zoom out some more. Now I can make it a different size. So I'm just going to place it. It doesn't matter what size it is right now because we're about to resize it. I'm going to take a line here. I'm going to draw it. I'm going to use my proscenium opening at 36 feet. I'm just going to draw a line from there to over here. I'm going to turn on my ortho, polar tracking, ortho mode, so it's a straight line. Go right over here and click there. And as you can see, that's only 5 feet long in this scale. I hit return so that I have the right size. Now I'm going to choose, select all, and I have that line there. And I want to change the scale. So I'm going to go here to scale. And I have my objects here, and here I specify my base point. I'm going to specify the side of the line right there. And now I want to type R for reference. R, enter. And it wants me to specify the reference length. Okay, so I'm going to click on the first point here. And click on the second point, which is the other end of that 5-foot line, which is the proscenium width. Click. Now it's asking me to specify the new length, and this proscenium opening is 36 feet. 36 feet, enter. Now it's huge. Hit zoom, all, and now I have my object there. And now let's take a measurement here and double check that it is the right length. And I'm just going to stick in a dimension from this end over to this end. And it's tiny because I haven't changed that size yet, but there it is, 36 feet. Okay, so I can get rid of the dimension because I don't need it. I'm going to zoom all. I'm going to grab that reference line that's sitting there for the proscenium opening. And since it's here, you know what? I'm just going to use that. I'm going to change the line type to my dashed line. So I have to import a dashed line. Let's load some lines here. And for my dashed line, I am going to use a standard ISO 2 dashed line. Actually, you know what? We'll use bigger dashes. Add that. Choose that. OK. And now I have this dashed line representing the proscenium opening. Now we need to trace these outside parts. But before we do, let's do a little bit of management. I'm going to choose my PDF, and I want to put this into a new layer. So I'm going to go down here and make a new layer. New layer. Title it PDF underlay. And I'm going to assign this to that layer, PDF underlay, and then I'm going to lock it. Oh, wrong one. There we go, because this way, when I'm playing with my drawing, I can't accidentally move it. So if I type in move, it won't move, it's locked, so it's going to stay there. Now I can start tracing, and we want to use polygons to trace all this stuff so that they're solid objects. We can break into them with doorways. We can use hatches inside the boundaries and such when we have these measurements sitting here. So to start with I'm going to start with some guides. Let's use some layers here. We have the PDF underlay there. I'm going to create a new one and just label this guides. I'm going to be drawing in my guides layer. Okay, so this is my current layer. So what I'm going to do is pick the rectangle tool. I'm going to put a rectangle here to fill in the inside of our stage space. I'm going to turn off my object snap and go right here into the corner. Pull up like so. And I'm going to put in dimensions. I'm going to tell it that it's 81 feet long, which is the width, or the length, but sideways. And then the width is 36 feet 9. Enter. Okay, so now I have a guide for around the stage. So I can see the guides. I'm going to change the guide color, the layer color, to yellow. This way I can tell the difference between my objects. So the guides are going to be yellow. Let's throw in a few more guides. Zoom in here and draw a rectangle that is 36 feet wide from our proscenium opening. Dimension 36 by, let's say, 24 inches. It's a little big. The proscenium is not quite that big, but at least this gives me my opening. Let's draw an arc, a 3-point arc. So this is going to work. We have all these choices. 3-point arc, which means we're going to start at one end. We're going to start from right here. We're going to go through the center, come around to the other side. So there's that reference. And we're going to put another one here. Oh, we got to activate it again. There's one point, another point, another point there. There we go. There's those two arcs. I'll put another rectangle in the middle for these traps. Just draw that by hand. There's that one. When I move it around, I'm pressing the middle button, the scroll wheel button on the mouse. I can see all my yellow lines. They come in handy there. Let's zoom in on this rectangle here, and we'll make an adjustment. Okay, we'll move that in like so. Moving it 8 inches in. And we'll move in this one over here too. And it snapped to the horizontal because of the ortho. Take my polyline tool. Start from here. Trace around the perimeter of our guide. Come out to the outside. And we're going to come straight out. Grab that point there. Turn ortho back on. So that green line tells us we're in line with the corner, and I'm going to go to here, and then I'm going to extend it out another 1.5 feet so that it's even going all the way around. Up to here. There. Extend it up another 1.5 feet. Over to here. Another 1.5 feet. Come down to here now. Down here, I don't have to go to the end of this one to 1.5 feet because I want to be even with this over here. So I'm going to go grab this snap point. You see the green line lights up, so I know I'm in line with it. And now I can go right into there and then close it. I hit C for close. Now let's grab it, and we're going to put this in a new layer called walls. Okay, so now this is in walls. Let's change its value to, for now, I'm going to change it to red so I can see it. Okay, the polyline, we're going to move it to the walls layer. And now I can see the walls. Opens up our hatch tool up here. I'm going to select the boundary. Click on that. Fills it in. So you notice it turned yellow because it's set to go by layer, and what I did was it got created on layer, current layer, and the current layer is guides. So I need to move it to walls. Now it's red. Now if we zoom in on it, we see it's all red. I don't want it to be all red. So I need to do some changes, mainly in the scale. I'm going to change this to 20. Okay, and now I can see the hatch. Let's try 30. Now there's some nice spacing in that hatch. Here we go. Now if I go in and I change my layer here to white, it looks much better as far as my hatching goes. And we can take a look at the hatching in the paper space. I have a new layout because that one was for the flat that I had before. And there's the layout. Now you can see the yellow just does not work on white paper, but the black does. And we'll have to print it out to see how it really takes effect. But you see these lines? They're all the same. Hatches should be thinner lines. Select the hatch. Okay. Line weight. I'm going to make these thinner. Let's see what the line weight of the outside is. Line weight is by layer. So let's see what the wall line weight is. Line weight. That's line type, line weight. Default. Let's make the line weight of the outside walls thicker. There we go. Much better. So now we have a solid hatch going all the way around. Let's switch back to our model space. We can move this thing out of the way, this reference. Just delete it. And we have our line here that we use for our sizing that we can also delete. And now we have our dashed line. Let's make another one of these and move it to the downstage edge of the proscenium arch. So I'm going to do copy. Okay, and click on the center. Just move one down here. Grab a marker point. There we go. We could keep on pasting these all day. Just keep on making copies. Escape a couple times, stop that. Okay. And these guys, I'm going to select both of those. I'm going to put them in a new layer. I'm going to call that proscenium arch. Okay. And put those in proscenium arch. Layer proscenium arch. Okay. That looks pretty good. Let's line this up right to the wall. Okay, now what does every theater need since I'm doing these dash lines? That's right, it's a center line. Center line. And the layer for that, line type. We're going to go get another one. Load. It's a long dash, short dash. And I tend to use ISO version 08. Add that one. There we go. And for that, I'm going to make that the current layer. Now draw a line. Find the center of the proscenium arch. There we go. The line weight itself, oh look at that, I spelled it canter line. Oops. Center line. There we go. Okay, center line is going to have a line weight of very, very thin. Fixes that. Center line by layer, line type by layer, line weight by layer. Let's double check that layer, line type. Choose the 08. There we go. That's a proper center line. We could move it, or we'll simply stretch it longer. And since we're here, we'll put a CL on it. There's the C. Save that. This C is way too small because I haven't set up my text styles yet. let's give myself the textiles. I'm going to make this 4 inches tall. So we'll make a new one, 4 inch. Close that. Style 4. Well, there we go. Now we can see it. I select the letter and I click on the marker on the corner. You can see down at the bottom of the page it gives me some options here, and I want to copy it, so I'm going to C and then just paste this right here. Hit escape. I'm going to choose this one, put in an L, save that, and move it over just a little bit, and select both of them, group them. Now I can copy that one down to the other end of the, down here. Let's move this reference line here that's supposed to be for the traps into a new layer. Traps. There we go, moved it there. Oh, it's changed the line type. Now we're going to turn on our underlay again and take a look at what else we need to draw. There we go. Zoom out all the way out to here. Go over a touch. And go back. C for close. All right. So I have the underlayment turn on here, and I see that this is open here, so you can walk through there. So I want to hatch here. Turn this off so I can see what I'm doing. So I want to hatch in this area here. So I'm going to draw a line, sort of like a boundary up here, just straight across there. Press on hatch. Pick my points. Pick from here and over here. And it is filled this in. And left this part open. The other side is very similar to this. So I'm going to select that and mirror to the other side. This line here is going to become part of our stage. We need a layer for the stage. So move that to the stage, layer, stage, turn off the underlay, and there's the edge of the stage. And this is the edge of the apron or the elevator. So turn the underlay again. And we'll draw a polyline. Be in stage layer, go from here, zoom into here, click. Now I'm going to change to an arc by pressing A. Here and here, and then I go out to the center arc location, but I need to change to center. Yep, that wasn't right. Second point. There we go. Now go over to here. Zoom in a whole bunch. Do a small second point one. Change the line. Go out here to the edge. Click. Return to stop. Turn that off. And now I have my apron line.